Okay, so I've been out all week long sick, and while I was out sick, I had time to think about a few different things I wanted to do, and one of those things was I really wanted to try a Scarecrow mask. I've done a few in the past, but I haven't done any in a while, and they're one of my favorite Halloween characters, and I don't have any right now. So I decided to get better and go ahead and make one. I want to kind of walk y'all through the process of making them. I use burlap as opposed to latex for the Scarecrow because I like the look of it. There's a few companies out there that make some fantastic Scarecrow masks using burlap. Some that come to mind are like Pumpkin Pulp or Grim Stitch, make fantastic, just amazing Scarecrow masks. So for mine, since I didn't really know exactly what I was doing, but I've played with the burlap before in different kinds of Scarecrow masks, I decided I was going to do it kind of like you would paper mache. So you'll take your pieces of burlap, you'll dip them in Mod Podge, or even white glue would probably work, and then kind of wring them out. And once it's been wringed out, you're going to press it onto your kind of your mold or your face shape that you have. I wanted kind of a nondescript face on mine, so I didn't really do a lot of like forming underneath it. It's basically just a kind of a blank face. If you want like a heavier brow or more lines in it, then you can kind of like build up that on your face behind, so that when you lay your burlap and glue on it, it has something to kind of form to. And you're going to press it in, let it form, and then you're going to let it dry. Once it dries, it holds its shape pretty well. This time I decided to do something a little different, and I do think I kind of like it. I took some like Flex Seal and sprayed it with Flex Seal just to kind of give it a good solid hold on it. And it's doing really good. After that, I'll add some paint. I did a little bit of painting before because I love the way that the paints kind of like seep into the burlap in a way. They kind of spread out in such a nice organic way. And I wasn't sure if adding the Flex Seal would change that. But I did do some painting afterwards. So a little bit that was done before and a little bit was done after the Flex Seal. Now that it's hard, I'm going to play around with it a little bit more. And I think I'm going to add some like maggots or something. Kind of oogity boogity kind of way, coming out of some of these folds. And then I'm going to flip it over and actually latex the back of the mask because I don't want it to be like super scratchy on your face when you're wearing it. So, you know, that's just kind of a general idea of what I'm working on right now. Hopefully it comes out great, and I'll be able to show it to y'all soon. Alright, so I got some of these little maggots put in. Now, I don't actually make these myself. It just seems more cost and time effective to purchase them. You can get them pretty cheap on Wish. The only problem with them is they're actually for bait, and I'm pretty positive that they're silicone, and getting anything to stick to silicone is very difficult. So gluing them tends to be kind of a pain, but they look fantastic and they feel fantastic as well. So I have a few that I stuck in this little gap here, and then a few, let's see, up higher on his head up there, if you can see. So I've kind of like packed them in, and then I used the burlap as well as the glue to kind of help hold them in place better, because like I said, they're hard to nail down. Nothing likes to stick to silicone except for silicone. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and I'm going to try this. I'm not sure if it's going to work or not. We're going to find that out together. But I think I'm going to try using some E6000, which is a glue that I love and I use it a lot. And I'm hoping it'll work here to kind of like goo up the area a little bit. So I'm just going to put it on real thick and let it dry, and it'll hopefully leave like a kind of glossy, gooey, ooey kind of look to it. And then I'm also going to take some of my like Monster Makers Flex Gloss to some other areas of it and make it super glossy there too. So we've got kind of this like mushy, gross looking kind of Scarecrow. So that's my idea so far, and I kind of keep you guys updated on. Okay, so I kind of walked myself straight into a kind of duh moment, and hindsight's 2020 on this one. As I kind of put my first little dab of latex on the back of the mask, I realized it was seeping through. So there's going to be a spot or two that I'm going to have to touch up because I kind of messed that up a little bit. Not a big deal, a lesson learned. And on the positive side, I get a little more depth with my mask because what I ended up doing was kind of like cutting some pieces of burlap and then latexing it and then applying it to the back kind of like a bandage. I'll go ahead and pull this down and kind of let y'all see. Get off. Okay. So I have the latex on these and it's kind of bandaged on the back here. So it's going to give it a little more depth because when you flip it over, you can see there's more layers. They're kind of sticking out, and I'm going to leave them sticking out because I kind of like the way that looks. And then I'll just kind of touch them up with some paint once they're finished drying. But right now it's still in the process of drying. And that'll make it a little more comfortable. I did not put any extra layers right here in the middle so that you could still breathe real easily if you're wearing it out. And then if you wanted to see, the gooey came out pretty well. It's still not 100% dry. Can you see that? I feel like you can't really see it real well on the camera, but the goo came out pretty well. It's not great if you're trying to get like drips, like hanging drips, because it's not going to hang. It dries too slowly. But it did work really well to kind of get like a puddle of goo on there. Anywhere you want, like you can even do drips running down the surface of something just fine with it. It seems to be working really well. So there it is so far again.